Hello, Planet Earth. It's gonna be a short one because I'm tired as balls. Obviously, if you saw the video yesterday, I came back very late at night, hence the whispering. Was quite drunk. This morning woke up, mostly due to the lack of sleep and probably having a cold. Didn't want to get out of bed. Obviously, quite a lot of that was due to the hangover. And now, more than anything, I'm just tired and susceptible to illness and irritable and all that nonsense. And yeah, I'm 23 now. Rather unremarkable birthday, really, but that's quite honestly what I live for. Took my sweet ass time getting ready this morning. I've been listening to Mudvayne LD50, the album, today, because first thing in the morning, hungover with the window open. It's like a fucking shot of caffeine, that album. It's great. And that, again, that's like Fear Factory. I never would have given them a second thought, and all of a sudden I'm hooked. The same with Mudvayne. There's a couple of songs I was always into, but I put the album on and I'm away. And the one that's really cued me onto Fear Factory, obviously there's a couple of specific Fear Factory songs that I quite like. Shock first from Obsolete. What is it? Power Shifter as well. That one I really quite like. And probably others, but the one that really did it for me was just me going, I want to listen to some heavy bloody metal. What's the industrialist like? Play, listen, blown away. Yeah, right. So I'll just have the Industrialist on loop on my walks to and from work. I'm probably going to stick the Mudvayne one on there as well, because surprisingly good wake up. And a lot of tracks as well. Most bands conk out about 8 or 10 tracks, myself included. Mostly because I'm like 5 to 7 minutes per song, but whatever. For Mudvayne, I've got like 18 tracks on that album, clocking in at 69 minutes or so. Fucking right on. You know? So yeah, also vaguely sobered up this morning. Went into the office. We tried to play Minecraft. We tried setting up servers and all sorts, and completely failed. Which is a right bloody shame, because one of my good friends who was there had spent the last week or two building a pig racing circuit, which we were all going to have a lot of fun on. Just never took off. The problem was that we couldn't access port forwarding in our router that we've got at work, because some dickhead's changed the password and I don't know what it is. And I should know what it is because it's my job. So that was the thing. So we moved on to Red Alert 2. Monocle Red Alert 2. Fucking beast of a game. Love it. Once we got them installed on everyone's laptops, we just sat there and gamed. I really do love LAN parties. It used to be a yearly tradition. I would get just like 15 people over this house, and we'd run fucking hundreds of multicoloured cables to a router on the stairs, and there would always be 2 PCs in what used to be my room, now the spare room, 2 or 3 PCs up here, this used to be my brother's room, 4 to 6 in the kitchen, and a couple of laptops in the living room. Just hundreds of cables to this router on the stairs that everyone could have nice access, and we'd order about 60 quid's worth of pizza and get really curious calls from the pizza guys saying, did you order 60 pounds worth of pizza? Unfortunately, the last time I did anything like that, it wasn't a LAN party, it was just a party, and we thoroughly annoyed everyone who lived near us for it. Because we were all singing badger, 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 and getting up to ridiculous sexual antics, so. And since then, I've had one LAN party at work. We might have had one here. Not since I moved in, at least, but maybe. I remember having like a 4 or 5 person LAN party once. It's just not the same unless you bring along a big beefy computer. Oh, there's an idea. We spent the evening playing Riddle Alert. Well, the afternoon through to the evening. Stopped for a bit in the middle so that I could do my day job while I'm there anyway. I'll get onto that in a minute. Yes, we'll order pizza. A couple of guys went home to have some food, come back. Been stuffing myself full of orangeade today. Don't know why, I'm hooked on that stuff as well. Crashing so hard right now. And yeah, came back, played some more Red Alert 2. Started going wrong about that point because, you know, we started dropping multiplayer games and having issues with connectivity and firewalls and things. Just ridiculous problems. I don't quite understand why they were happening. You just, occasionally, we'd get about 10 minutes into a match and all of a sudden everything would freeze. And then we'd have like there's a problem with various people's connections, and mine and someone else's would be fine, and my wife's and someone else's would just like drop completely, and their entire PCs would freeze. But whatever, we had fun, so much fun, and you know, my wife now has actual in-game multiplayer game experience with Red Alert 2. I mean, it's amazing because she's quite good at it. You just got to work on it, you know. We'll play some skirmish games together. It's love. But speaking of which, I do actually have to upgrade her PC at some point. Like she's got a laptop and that can run sort of pre-1999 games. Runs Quake 2 actually, weirdly. It's about the best thing it can run though. There's The Sims and Roller Coaster Tycoon, fine, but not Theme Park World, which is a fully 3D game. But I don't know. It's a mixed bag, a laptop, but our PC, I got it so that we could play Saints Row together and Left 4 Dead 2. And I bought all the games and I brought the PC, but the graphics card's not good enough, and I'm like, fuck's sake. I'm gonna spend like 60 to 80 quid on a new graphics card, shit. All the while I'm trying to spend like 400 to 700 quid on a keyboard, and I've got to spend 100 quid for the cat to get spayed. Spayed? Neutered? Neutered. Spaying is for girls. Neutered. Microchipped, shots. Money is hard. It's really hard. I just want a lot of money. Can I have some, please? You can't have money unless you work, which brings me on to work. And it's all fine. I'm good at my job. And the management knows I'm good at my job. And the job itself actually went fine, but attempting to go home, I'm sort of like plodding downstairs, getting ready to say goodbye to everyone that's down after the show, and it smells like burnt cake. Actually, just smells like burnt. Oh God. And confusingly enough, not entirely sure at all what's happened. So, right, in my line of work, in the place where I work, where if you saw the video yesterday, yes, that's my uniform, that's what I wear, as part of, like, actual technician's uniform, as it were, not management uniform with the shirt and tie, but, yeah. In the last 2 years of me being a technician there, I have known 2 dimmer racks, and dimmer racks are what lights on stage use to draw their power from. You get the lighting desk, which when you push up a fader on it, one of the lights comes on. The dimmer rack is that bridge. The lighting desk talks to the dimmer rack, which allocates a certain amount of power, depending on what you've said on the lighting desk, to go to the light. So if they if they malfunction at all, no lights. And at the worst, you start a fire. And in my time working there, I've had 2 cases where we're working with really old dimmer racks here, and they just start pluming smoke out into the foyer. It's alarming everyone that's there. It's never happened during a show. The first time it happened, it was about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's the worst it ever got, where they just started barreling out like tons of smoke, and we thought there was a fire breaking out somewhere. There wasn't. It was pretty bad, but there wasn't. The second time was at the very start of a month-long run of shows that's going out on tour and coming back and going out to new venues and churches, and ridiculously good time. But the second day we were up, I get about 100 metres home, get a phone call saying, "The foyer smells of burning," and my heart immediately sinks, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Told them to shut off all the power. The issue is, the theatre I work for doesn't have any council funding, so we turn ourselves over. That's more or less it. If we need any money for some things, we go to grants and project funding, which that's a new world to me that is currently the management are sat there going, come on, and I'm going, no, I don't want to look, I don't want to scare, I just want to push the pretty lights. But they're not cheap Zimmer racks, and if they are, they're not ones you want. The ones we want, the exact same specifications to what we have, are between £300 to £450 each. We have 8 of them in what's called a 3-phase. So that's a lot of money that the building doesn't really have. It's close to 3.5 to 4 grand. The issue is, if they're not replaced, there's no theatre. It's not a theatre if there's no light. It's a stage. Depressing as that is, way it goes. My issue now comes with having to step up to this whole technical management role and say, okay, I need 4.5 grand for fixtures and fittings. I need 4 grand for relocation and installation. And I'm not going to be the one that installs it. I'm not an electrician. I'm certainly not allowed to run, however many meters of fucking chunky as balls copper cable to run these things. Because they need to be relocated from where they are to somewhere that's like fireproofed, and it's a mammoth job. I don't know anywhere that's just going to say, yeah, here, have 10 grand. Pfft, fuck off. It's a scary world. And it's an interesting world to have to face up to on one's birthday. But it's the world I've been sort of edging through for the past 2 years, so, time I ran through, I guess.